I was familiar with all the tales, mind. The first explorers had spun overwrought stories upon their return. Until I laid eyes upon the Feylands, I was blind, and now I see. I have never seen colour nor grandeur nor wonder until I saw the shores of Arcadia. Later travellers were more prosaic, but still offered no adequate description. There were few maps and fewer landscapes available, and almost all of them had been denounced by one explorer or another as fraudulent. For all the many contradictory theories I had read on the relationship between our world and that of the Fae, I was no more enlightened. It was said to be underground, but not. It overlaid our own, but not. It was another place, but not. All I do know was this: our ship, the Quiet, sailed in circles on the North Sea for 6 whole weeks. On the dawn of the first day of the 7th week, my wavering compass informed me that we were headed straight back towards smog-shrouded London. Nervously, I clutched my compass. My brother had given it to me before he left for Arcadia to become a missionary. He was among the first to be tasked to bring the word of God to the fair folk. He had been there 3 years now, and had been nothing but terse in his correspondence. I tried to swallow the worry that consumed me, but it knotted around my heart. That was when I caught my first glimpse of the Fey lands. Impossibly white cliffs rose from the white sea foam. For a moment my mind feared it to be Dover, that I had simply returned to those mundane cliffs of chalk and stone, that no foreign land awaited me. Yet those cliffs were too white, too stark. They could not be Dover. Behind them I expected the rolling hills of home, but instead the landscape was jagged and jutting knife-sharp from the sea. It seemed cobbled together, each part eerily familiar, but set against something other. I recognized the leering profile of a hill, the knuckle-like crest of a mountain. Yet as wind and wave shifted the shapes, it all seemed different again, and my strained eyes watered. The Quiet glided gull-like into a wide river. Unfamiliar structures sprawled against the green-grey mass of the land in arching, crumbling lines. Squinting, I made out the spined turrets, barbed roofs, and oddly leaning walls. For a moment I thought the town to be an endless dragon coiled around the edge of the harbour, huffing smoke from its distended nostrils. It shimmered, the shingled roofs seeming scale-like, and then it shifted. I blinked, and buildings were back to where I remembered them. There was no dragon made of shifting structures, just a town of crowded streets. The ship heaved under our feet like an unruly stallion. A shout broke out among the sailors in words I didn't understand. They started busying. As they clambered up and down the ratlines and hauled rope this way and that, they muttered invocations under their breath. I wanted to chide them for their superstition, but we were sailing to Arcadia, and none of it made any sense. I tried to stay out of the way as the soldiers blasphemously crossed themselves in the name of salt, sea, and soil. An unnatural wind curled around the sail, whipping it back and forth. It fluttered full and then deflated with each breath of the wind. The Quiet became anything but as the timber groaned. The cabin boy flung his arms around the prow and cooed at it. It was a long while before the ship was tamed and brought to shore. And then I was simply there, stepping unsteadily from the ship into the shamble of the docks. Twisting streets full of seeming people reminded me of a crowded London. The ground was a shock to my feet, and I staggered. My carpet bag and trunk joined me on the docks. I fumbled for my documents and scanned the milling crowd for my guide. I tried not to notice the oddities of each figure, the strange colours and the wings and horns. There would be time aplenty for the wonder of Arcadia, once my bags had been unpacked and I had found my brother. "Miss Catherine Helstone, I presume? The missionary sister?" With an upturned nose, round chin, and soft brown eyes, the woman I turned to meet was perhaps one of the least ethereal people I'd ever met. She was shorter than me, but as her skirts hung long and limp, without a murmur.